in the morning we started to go through the takeaways, and I feel like there was very, very good vibes in the room upstairs. And actually after we had our session, I had a meeting with the department head from the teacher training school from the University of Applied Sciences, and I said that we were in one of their teacher training classrooms, and we kind of feel the vibes and energy that there was from them. So from that we're gonna continue. And now to shortly explanation to Orsi and Edith. So the thing was that each of the teachers were assigned here the elements, the things that they could consider as takeaways. And then they were instructed to pick up one. And what could that one be? And then what are the next steps? How to implement it? Who to ask help? And so on. And most of the teachers work in pairs or small groups, which is very common in Finland, and they were allowed to use different facilities like we have seen now during the week. And maybe a few words about now the whole week. Like I said in Monday, that the Friday is so further away that we don't need to think about it, and now we're here. And it's kind of really, really shame that time goes so fast, but it has been a fantastic week. I hope we all agree that we've seen a lot, we have observed a lot, and then luckily we have had very good conversations at the school. I just had a chat with the Mankola school, and they were so pleased that we were there yesterday. They were very excited that you had time to have a conversation with them, because I was kind of thinking that we are asking them to have a chat with us, but they felt like also that they were so pleased that after the observations you still came back to the classroom and had to give we give our time for them. So it's always a learning process from both ways, not just that we go to school and learn something, also they wish to learn from you, and it's always fruitful to have those conversations. But further ado, let's go through the takeaways that you have discussed in groups. And I also hope that after you present yours, we are able to have a discussion that what other would comment on that and how others would take those in their school and work together with the colleagues. So, which group would wish to start? I have the papers here if you're wondering whether you've lost them. So I give floor to you.
Okay, so about our takeaway, we had cooperation between teachers. And our takeaway is maybe that we realize the potential of having a group of teachers who can collaborate together in the future. And we were thinking about the steps, the first steps that we can make. And we thought that designing a platform would be a good idea for us.
A digital platform.
A digital platform, yes, which would be a kind of database of practical tips and materials that we could use, a concise one, a structured one. We have started to think about the structure, but we would encourage us as teachers or mentors to think about the design of this platform. And the main idea is to first design this platform and then invite teachers from our schools also to upload materials and tips to this platform. And then also we would link the Finnish teachers, English teachers also to upload any material that they think would be useful. So it would be like a nice design we can start thinking about, following maybe the structure of a lesson plan with icebreakers, warm-ups, developing different skills, and then maybe something about the projects that each of us would like to or tried at school. Okay, so we would organize this platform in a user-friendly way, as we know that we don't have much time. We teach a lot in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, so we would like to have a platform which we can very easily use, can bookmark it and have a look at some of the ideas that others have already tried and maybe we can use them later. So we would
and give a collection of different links teachers can use, because not all of us know about these links and these platforms and web pages. So it would be a good idea to share it.
Yeah, and we would be the administrators of this platform. So it would mean that those teachers who would like to also add some tips, methods, they wouldn't be able to upload these things directly, but we would be the ones who would check and finalize these tips. Okay. So we are, as mentors now, ready to verify whatever these teachers would like to share on this platform. So we were starting to think about the platform templates, and we would need help in that. Sanne said that we should mention what kind of help we need, and I think that's one of them, how to do that in practice. So who would do it, what we should use to design this platform. And we were also thinking about touring the country. We wouldn't like to lose each other, so we would start by going to our schools, and then maybe we can open up to other schools later on. We would present what we have learned here, so we would make a nice presentation. We have all the materials for that, and we would do that after this platform is ready, so we can market, sell this platform to other teachers in each of these schools. We could have some table discussions as well at schools with the English language teachers after presenting the platform and presenting our experiences. So that's our Feedforward maybe. Okay. I hope that you guys like the idea and would like to take the first steps towards this platform.
Yes.
Only people who are interested would be present, not the whole staff. Maybe because maybe not everybody is interested, and we cannot force
It's a very
them.
good idea, because there's a network among teachers in a city that actually exists, and that it's better to invite to advertise it instead of giving this presentation for the whole staff, including chemistry teachers, PE teachers, or those who are not interested. But I like this idea.
Me too.
Not to mention that it can also strengthen the idea of cooperation between schools, perhaps.
Yes, of teachers. And I actually offered that the first one where we can practice could be in my school. But in this school year, I think it's a good idea to have it in June or around June.
But we have to design the platform first.
Yes.
We have to advertise.
So that takes time as well.
Actually, Fatkur and I were also talking about something like this, and we had an additional idea that a lesson plan or an activity is uploaded to such a site, and perhaps teachers experimenting with those ideas could leave a remark, something like, on product pages, like the consumer's review about that product. So some teachers may want to add something like, it worked for me with a larger group or with a smaller group, or it worked for me for this topic but not for that topic. So we could kind of always help each other with further tips.
Yes, that's a good idea, I think.
We haven't really made steps or digital. Yes, so that.
Yeah. Okay. We were just talking about it, and we didn't write our ideas, so we didn't create the steps, didn't go into details. Just we were thinking about cooperation within our school. So we, together with our colleagues, to disseminate this idea of what we have learned here, how to put it in practice. to our English teachers and to other colleagues as well, and maybe start projects with them by presenting what we have learned here and try to put it in practice. So that is our idea by cooperation.
And I would like to cooperate with my teacher I'm not really talking about, and I don't think about big things. I would like to go step by step. So hopefully, first I would like to work together successfully and effectively with my teacher, who is a co-teacher at first grade with me. Then if it will work, then we can go a little bit wider and go lower primary, then upper primary. So yes, I usually think and I try to think big, but this time first I will do step by step. And we were talking about different aspect of the cooperation, like it's when you have to cooperate with English teachers or other subject teachers. We were talking about the odds, the good thing and the bad thing as well. So we haven't written down anything, but we had a nice discussion with Ildi. And the other thing is, it was so nice because she lives so far from me, so we had to make a bridge, and because our distance is 6 hours drive. So, and it was so nice to have a conversation with her.
Yeah, and I also think that what we can do with our colleagues is to make them change their perspective, their approach, because that was the point or the basic things that I realized here, that we can do that. If we take tiny steps, that is the point, and then we can see where it leads.
And then, Silja, you had an idea, some concrete idea what you're going to do.
Yes. Yeah, I know I will do a shoeless classroom from Monday. So, but it's easy, shoeless classroom, because it's easy for me because I have tiny kids. It means I have first graders. It's only 16 kids. I have my own classroom. I have the facility for the shoes. So anyway, I will just declare the idea and present it to the parents. And so we won't wear shoes in the classroom. I will ask the parents to pack extra socks for the kids, and we will just try out. I know my colleague Eva will be happy to cooperate with me. And now we have a really nice carpet, what we usually can't use. We always roll it up because we don't want the carpet to be dirty, so we will just roll it out and use it, and
Make it dirty.
no shoes and try to do more fun things without shoes, and it will be the kids will be so happy because they always beg for me, can we take our shoes off? Now it will be compulsory to take the shoes off, and we will see how it works. But as I told you, I mean, in my class there is only one lesson when is an older teacher come. I will try to convince her to take her shoes off, but obviously if I can't, then I won't force her to take her shoes off. But I think we will be the first class in the school who study in a shoeless classroom. We will see. So
I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, and I'm confident the kids, when they don't need to wear shoes, the whole learning environment is different, because you can use the same facilities totally different way, because you can sit in the floor, you can
it will be nice and clean.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, sometimes I'm so, how do I say, so I can hear the voice of the shoes, like they are, like the steps. And so I will avoid noise because they will be quiet. And the other thing is, I will save my voice as, please stand up, don't sit on that floor because it's so dirty. So I'm hoping I can create a quieter classroom in this way, and we will see. I will tell you my experience.
you will be saving money because of the cleaning costs. So
Oh, I haven't thought about it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
the cleaning lady will be so happy. I know that because she always complains. Not my classroom because we have spare shoes, or how do you do that? Like, you know, when you come out, indoor shoes. So we have sandals, but not even sandals will be allowed in the classroom. Just socks. We will see. I'm so curious. I told Tundi already, and she really agreed to the idea. So
She was without shoes 1 week long.
that's right. So she said, "Oh, Sylvia, I knew that she will do that in the school." So we will see. But I have so many other ideas, which is, I mean, I read that note on the refrigerator, and less is more. So I mean, so many things in my head which consider to less is more.
And
So
we are
I will
eager to
see.
hear how the story goes, definitely.
And the good thing is I have first grader and I have to work with them for 4 years. So I can raise them in a
Definitely, yeah.
Finnish way a little bit if I want to, if I can. So I will try. So that's it.
Good. Fantastic.
No, this is not ours.
No, this is not ours. No, we have everything up here. Okay, do you want to start?
No, you start.
Okay, so I think we had quite an in-depth dialogue about our topics, which was more space for kids, and the other was flexibility in the classroom. Yes, so these were our two main topics, and we managed to find some overlapping parts of it. So my side was the more space for kids, and I think I will make this a slogan of mine for the upcoming weeks or hopefully months, that I will ask everyone, do you have a punching bag at your school? And I hope to be the first one to say yes to this question later on. And because there are a lot of restrictions at our school, like kids are not allowed to use the football pitch, and we have 2 trampolines and those are rarely in use, and 2 tag ball tables, which some teachers who are new don't even know that we have them. And I will want to put them in practice. So because what I found here in Finland is that there are huge spaces for kids to either be alone or have a community together, and they can bond with each other. And I think there could be more of these clusters or central places at a school, because now at our school the only place is the line in front of the school buffet, and that's the entertainment that they have. So I might be able to convince, I will try to convince the colleagues and everyone in school about giving more space to the kids. And then maybe that will start something like the one which we later went on to talk with Tandeka, which was the freedom or in the classroom, and that means flexibility in the classroom.
Which entails freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like the flexibility in the classroom is that we don't immediately scold a child for misbehavior, but we accept that they have needs, and we will look at it in a way that with more understanding and more empathy, rather than strictly sticking to the school rules. So because we've seen misbehavior here in Finland as well, and the way it was handled is something I believe is a good way, but I rarely see it or hear it handled that way in Hungary. So more or less I will go for equipment and the use of equipment at school, because mostly teachers are very protective of school equipment, even though they are protected if something bad happens, then the parents will pay for it. So it's no big deal, and I think it could be an easy practice to install a lot of like climbing walls or boxing or punching bags at a school. So I think this is my takeaway, which I will take home and try to put in practice. And maybe during these meetings, I have an idea that one of the meetings I can show everyone the game which I've been talking about, like where I got the punching bag idea. Because I think it's a good game, even though it's a little bit time consuming. But if I stream it during one of our meetings, then you could talk about and just watch on the side what's happening. So these are the things that I think I will take away with the help of Sandika, because
Yes, we also try to dissect these two themes, if I may say, or topics: flexibility and space. And we try to find the correlation or the relationship between the two. How do they connect to each other? So I think that from my side, or probably from an academic point of view, I will be able probably to write an article about this. Of course, I will have to, get your opinion, probably an interview. I was also thinking about a blog, a teacher's blog as well. YouTube videos that we can also, where I can, interview somebody, and we can disperse those videos across the world, and to see if flexibility is practical or it's just theory. Is it possible to be a flexible teacher, or it's just something that we can just theorize about? Is it possible to have space? But because remember, space is not just like physical space. That's what we discussed. That space is not just the physical space, desks and everything, but children also need emotional space. You can't be like hovering over the kids like a drone. So we all those things that we need to take into consideration. But of course, considering my situation, my teaching situation, but I'm also very passionate about academics. I want to also, look at something from an academic point of view, if it's something is practical. So I think this will be, of course, after I've cleared my studies, probably I can also start on this venture, of course, with your help. I can have interviews with you and see how far. Probably not only with flexibility, but also with other themes as well, and see how far we have gone, like in the case of the digital platform, how far we have gone with that. And then we can also, it can have babies, it can multiply and have other, branches. Yeah, I think that's what I can say.
Great. Yes, thank you. And just to comment that now if we think about the schools that we visit, this kind of a movement. In Finland we have this process, School in Move, and Mankolan Koulu is one of the good examples how they provide, how they use the facilities and give the youth, those kids where you see playing pool or playing this football with this box thing. Did you notice that there is this game where you sit down and you play with your feet? So that there are different options to kind of show them that there's more than just hanging and sitting and watching your mobile phone during the breaks. So this is more and more how the schools are trying to activate the students during the breaks, but of course also during the lessons. And that's why the activity in the classroom is very important. And whether you have, depending of course the facilities that you have, the main thing is that there is an activity, and that could be done without any of those, even though the punching bag is a good thing, but also without those. So now if you are kind of looking back and comparing the schools that we've seen, they've been using the facilities a little bit differently, but the mindset is this, that how can we provide the activeness into the classroom and breaks. Brilliant. Then.
So we were talking about the holistic approach we would like to take home, and we consider the teacher's point of view and also the students' well-being part.
Yes. So you have already talked about some of our reflections, and yes, one thing we really experienced here, and we think it's great to emphasize, is really the well-being. And so, as you said, both for teachers and for students. So I will talk maybe about the teachers' well-being. So we thought we could have more active discussions. So build an atmosphere where we can trust the other teacher, and open and talk about our problems, so we don't have to face them alone, because here we actually experience that it's very good to share, and of course it's very good to share what's positive and our like little victories, but also when we have problems. So it's not a problem to talk about problems, because that leads to some solutions. And
sorry.
No,
we were just thinking how can improve the students' well-being, and our result without the teachers' well-being, we cannot do it. So how can we improve their well-being? I think, or we think, it should be the communication. So the teacher should feel that somebody cares. They should be involved all together, and when through communication we can build the trust step by step. And after this, we should focus on the students' well-being as well.
okay.
Yeah, and some positive communication, because as a teacher we don't really have in Hungary positive communication. This is the main negative thing, and it can be learned. So whatever it is, assertive communication, or mindset, and we should concentrate on us first. Then later on, it doesn't mean punch bag or any kind of super facility, or this kind of tables or chairs or whatever. So the teacher should feel that they are cared, they are focused on, they are very good. Actually, they are. And but we are never say to each other, we never praise each other, yeah. So it's a little bit we are not positive at all. So I think this is the first thing that we are going to take home with us.
Yeah. And okay.
And we know that it's all about money is the most important thing, but we have to try to do some little steps into our well-being, into the teacher's well-being.
Yes, and that's also what I wanted to say. So actually it can be easy to create kind of a cozy atmosphere even for teachers. So as you already said, like less is more, okay. That's exactly that. And even just with like some furniture, or even the one we have, so make a bit more space, because it really has an impact and an effect on how we work. So our working environment has a big impact on it, yeah. So we can feel a neat atmosphere, like it can calm us. But if you have like papers everywhere, and yeah, it won't help us to be calm, yeah. So
it's a strange thing that we are the first that we should change. So without us, or without the teacher, it wouldn't be possible to change. And we should have a Ministry of Pedagogy as well. That would be very nice, and the main point.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the teachers' well-being, it would be communication, change a bit the mindset, so be more positive, pay attention to the assertive communication, and also to make our workspace a bit more cozy. Yes. And
take your knits.
yeah. Now let's talk about the students' well-being. I don't know who wants.
Okay, the student well-being, we just had some ideas how to encourage them to tell us their ideas. Maybe every school, I think there is a DÖK, it's the Association of the Students.
Yes, student council, and maybe we can ask them, so how can you imagine an ideal classroom? And they can write a lot of ideas, maybe silly ones, but maybe some of them will be a good point to start to build their needs or to
Yeah, the
rely on their
students
needs.
should feel that they are involved. Maybe we should do a brainstorming or a box that they can put their ideas. And we just select or whatever. But they have to feel that, okay, this is our school.
Yes, and also as we saw that children need space, they need to move because they have a lot of energy. Maybe encourage also outside lessons when the weather let it. So yes, so outside lessons, and also maybe try to put some more accessories like in the classroom or in the school, like bean bags. We loved it, and that it was also colorful. That helps. And you also talked about the bell sound, for example.
Or she told me the idea that, do you know that the sound of bell can be changed at a school? And yes, I'm going to change it. We hate this sound. And it's a little thing maybe, but...
But it can have an impact on everyone. Okay, so these were our ideas, I think.
Small steps, but our steps.
Very good, very concrete. By the way, on Tuesday when we quickly went through the Shield High School, and maybe you noticed that some of the the corridors, they were like empty spots. So what they did this, and now after the Christmas, that because the students were saying that this is not cozy, we want more here. So they said, like, okay, let's ask the students to take the sticky note and put to the wall. For example, I want mirror here. I want a couch here. So the whole corridors were actually, now there were these couches, and we were seeing like the students were working in there, but they were empty, and now they little by little the school is buying stuff according to the needs that comes and the ideas that come from the student. So very good one. I guess just waving. And actually about the positive, I am going to challenge you all from tomorrow forward, since we have the chat group in Facebook, that each of us post 2 positive things every day. Let's have first like 1 week trial. This kind of if I think about positively and I share my positivity, the others will joy as well. And it's like the positive pedagogy, one of the mindsets. And if we are doing the tryout with this group for 1 week, then you can take this also to the teachers' launch and say, like, let's talk positively, let's think about positively, and it starts from ourselves. So I can post the first one so you sort of see whatever. It's more like what are you grateful of each day, and then we share those things and starting with 2 each day. Let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, that was like a side note, but yeah.
And should it be like specific for schools? Or
No, whatever.
Whatever happens, that is positive.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Because I'm doing now with my colleagues, and for example, Wednesday, I think I posted that luckily I had a wonderful day with you guys. We had a nice visits to the Norsi and the university. Then I got my laptop back because it was under renovation. And third thing, because we are posting 3 things, was that luckily there was a leftovers in the fridge, so I didn't need to cook when I came home. Yeah, so like small things or big things, whatever is you feel like sharing.
Okay.
But I think it's gentlemen.
Things every day.
Okay, first of all, I will start with telling you guys how this topic come up between us, because everyone picked their his or her own takeaways, but I believe everyone has more than one because we have learned a lot. So I pick autonomy, which is more like a theoretical framework, like what can we practically use the autonomy of the teachers, and then Zoli come up with the practical activities for students. So that's how we can finally like come up with this idea. So in in a simple way, we are just want to think globally but act locally. It means we'll start from us in our own class, and we start it together. So maybe we can start with what is it the target actually? What we want to get? What we want to? What's the aim?
We define the target as giving students more practical knowledge and skill, and brackets time to practice, and the guiding principle would be autonomy within this area. So yeah, we were really thinking about our situation as Hungarian teachers, and so we thought that probably the first step for us would be to make ourselves familiar with the requirements of the national curriculum, because we obviously have some limitations, or there are things that we need to keep ourselves to. So we broke it down into steps, and then step one says make yourself familiar with what is expected of you and then what the requirements are.
Mm-hmm. And it's also understanding that from the national curriculum, there's actually the teacher has the autonomy to reinterpret the syllabus. So we might not be able to change the curriculum, but we have actually the autonomy to adapt the syllabus. And starting from that, then we see that here is the flexibility comes up. Like we have seen that we interviewed the teacher in some schools that we visited, and then they have the autonomy to like pick the activities, and I believe that is one of them is in revisiting the syllabus that we already have.
Yes, probably we have all realized that our subject is. It's quite a lucky situation for us that when we teach English, we have some sort of freedom if we compare ourselves to other subject teachers, like Hungarian literature teacher and history teacher, who need to really keep to the syllabus, and they are really in a hurry. That's what we hear from our colleagues all the time, that they need to catch up because the next poet is coming, the next writer is coming, the next topic is coming. In English, like, we can fit all sorts of things, and that gives us some freedom. Yeah, and so the next step after kind of trying to modify the syllabus according to our needs would be obviously to state clear learning objectives. Mm-hmm. That's what we wrote down for step 3. And then the next step is obviously putting together teaching material, and what Zsuzsi and your teammates have already said, that comes in here, probably this platform, which would be really great help in executing that. And we just put them. This is the space for tasks and different exercises, phenomenon-based exercises as well, and the different projects that we have been talking about for weeks now. And if you mention projects, then of course the collaboration with our colleagues, colleagues teaching different subjects, also steps in. So this is really an exciting area. But yeah, creating new teaching material is what we have been talking about since the very beginnings, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And here is actually where we will emphasis on giving the practical knowledge and skills in this task with like employing this project base and then collaborating with the other teachers. But then again, we believe that even when we started from our own class, so the idea is Zoli has the class, Zoli will apply those strategies at task projects in his class, and I'm more than happy to help, because that teacher is actually the only one who understands the class is the teacher, him or herself. But then while teaching, the teachers might not be able to observe at the same time. So I'm helping to observe, not observe him, no, but observing what is it we are applying to find out. Here is find out how the ongoing assessment and reflection applied, and we revisit the learning objective that we have had. So I'm helping to observe, and then maybe I call it collaborative classroom-based research, maybe theoretically, but then we like kind of together develop the instrument that we need, something like this one. Then the result of what we did can be shared in the platform that Teams is proposed. So what he did is not only stop in his class, but then can be reused or adapted by anyone from the report that we are going to share. Maybe it's not really should be a journal or item, maybe just on a best practice report.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously this is a thing that anybody can do, not just from this group, but you can, and probably it's more convenient, do it with your colleagues who are ready to cooperate. And it would be something like class visiting, but from a different point of view, not with, like Fatkur said, not with the aim of evaluation, but like it's like you had some extra eyes in the class and you could see the whole process from the outside. And I just want to come back for one sentence. So this practical knowledge, when I saw this little note that one of you made, it just occurred to me that like the whole week that we've been experiencing here, it's like giving kids practical knowledge. I really meant like lifelike situations. Okay, so much more of what they can actually use in real life, and I think I just had some inspiration from the vocational practice. So they get really hands-on experience concerning the language itself. So it's not like, you know, perhaps we should get rid of some far-fetched articles and focus on what is really practical and situational and stuff like that. Yeah, and finally we made some notes here, like first of all, be aware of the autonomy that you have and identify where your limits or walls are. Obviously it varies from school to school, but be aware of it and then use it, utilize it and benefit from your own autonomy.
Thank you. Edith, did you have?
Yes, because I heard one very, very important idea. You said that when you ask someone to come to help, they are all the time much more open, but instead of I tell them, okay, now I want to teach you something. And I think this is one of a really good way to get colleagues involved into, well, we already have like, hey, you know, I've been there, and let listen to me, I'm going to tell you. But like instead of this, could you help me just at least maybe for 1 hour, because I will try something new with my kids, and as I will be so much into the work, I might need some observers and have like help me to see how does it function, how do they react, because when we ask like I think it's the humankind's nature, we always want to help and make things better.
It's a very good comment.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that another takeaway for me from this week is that so human nature, you call it. I call it professional pride, which is I think it exists in Hungary, and I didn't see much of it here in Finland, and not only in the area of teaching, but also when I encountered Finnish people and I had a chance to talk about, you know, life and professions. So this is something that perhaps we should kind of it requires self-reflection, but we should give up and if you can do it, then you get someone who will collaborate with you, and the extra eyes who will see things for you. Basically, you get an assistant teacher for that class. So it's like double win. Yeah. So this professional pride is something that is not very healthy, I guess. Actually, I myself I was reconsidering things, and I asked one of my colleagues, because I'm new at my school, like I've already told you, and I asked him if can I come and see one of your classes, because I want to see the ways you've been here for 8 years, and I want to see how you are dealing with these kids. And he was more than happy to have me as a guest. Yeah, and it was good for him as well, and for me too.
And I have just one more memo. Considering the curricula and the syllabus, we call it the
Syllabus.
Yes, we have in Hungary 30% of flexibility within the curricula. So whatever you is getting, it might be made much more flexible way. You just have to really get to know what is expected from us in the curricula, because there are still lots of spaces to make it more children centered.
Good news.
Yeah, and also adding like we visited the teacher training, and also I know that there's also already here established institutionalized research between university and school. That's why it's more like bottom up. But here maybe we just started from us, from this, and then maybe hopefully we might inspire helping others also, and others help us. So that become more and more clear that we need to have the bridge between the research and the practical things in the classroom.
Somehow we had the idea that you in Finland you have a lot of freedom. I mean, teachers in choosing what methods they want to apply and so on. But Fatkur and I were just thinking about the Hungarian situation and how we could still make our way among these rules and these circumstances.
Yeah, and exactly starting with something lighter and sort of smaller set, like we've been discussing the whole week. But yeah, you're right about this sort of reflective way what we do, and also I think it's about starting from the teacher training that we are so used to that. Because when we're doing our own internship, we are there in a classroom and there's somebody mentoring and guiding us. And then when we graduate and go to school, we don't have that privilege anymore. So if someone is saying like, can I come? We also think like, wow, someone is interested in what I'm doing. Because principals don't have time to go to the classroom. So when someone is coming, either it's a visitor or colleague, it is a very positive thing. And then of course we think like, okay, now they will tell me something that I've missed, or maybe we will get into the conversation and we both knew much more.
Yeah. And I think we can't have enough of experience when it comes to how our colleagues deal with the kids.
Yeah. True. Yes. Thank you.
My topic, which I chose as a takeaway, was inclusion, so inclusive education. And first of all, let me just give you some points about what I will take away. And it's actually a lot of positive reinforcement, because my ideas and concepts which I had before the visit started were very much strengthened. So I had never seen satellite classes where children with very serious special needs are part, at least some of the mainstream classes, and they live and study under the same roof as typically developing children, and it was so good to see how well it worked. I also saw how much it depended on the teacher's mindset, how the result in the classroom in considering inclusion, how minor problems could be tackled with just half a sentence. For example, when I observed an English class, with one sentence, I give you a direct quote: "I know you are getting frustrated. I also feel that too. I understand." And that's what the teacher said. And with that, the problem was stopped at that very moment. And that's why I first plan to change myself first in order to be even more observant towards my students, and to help them to be themselves even more than I have done up till now. My other plan is, which is also ongoing, but I would like to step it up a bit, is to show teachers good practices. I'm planning to do this with materials that can be integrated into in this database, but I am planning to work online. I have also got some friends with whom I work with on self-representation project, and we want to show teachers, we want to show the whole education system that it can be done and it needs to be done, or what can be done and what needs to be done in order for education system to be much more inclusive. My special focus is usually students with disabilities, especially with invisible disabilities, and it's a tricky topic, and that's why I would like to start first just planting the seeds and with these online materials, and then continuing with, for example, touring your schools and other schools and showing and telling them about the experience we had here and how it can be implemented even in the Hungarian setting. And yes, I need help from all of you actually, because you can help me and help other people with special needs to be, and with other types of difficulties, to feel at home in the classroom much more. And I think we can help each other, because I can give you some ideas and you can give me some ideas which we can spread further on. And that's what I am planning to do.
Thank you, Lila.
Lila, we have a question for you, because we may not be fully aware what satellite classroom means. Can you tell us?
Yes, I am sorry. For me it's so. A satellite classroom means that students in that these are special needs students, and they have a separate class where they study in some parts of the day, but this classroom is part of a mainstream school's building, like the one we saw at Mangola, the Mangola High School. So they are under the same roof, they play together, these students play together with other students, they have lessons with other students like crafts, arts, and home economics. So they sometimes together with the mainstream students, and sometimes they learn that they have their separate learn in their separate classrooms because they need the additional support. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And that is not very common, and that's why actually the Mangala was also in our list for the visits, because not that many schools have a possibility to have the separate classrooms and had it in that huge attention that they have actually in Mangala. So again, the program, when I was building together with my colleagues, I tried to think like, well, we have people who work in KG, so how can we see what is happening with the lower grades and KG, and also to understand the Finnish system, it's important to see what is happening in the kindergartens. How do they use the facilities? Like we saw that the bed was coming from the wall and then again went up, so either they sleep or they play, so they can use the whole room. And then what is the sort of the steps towards the KG to grade 1 and then go into the upper grades, high school, vocational. So, and of course university and University of Applied Sciences. So to understand the whole path and the thing that when we start with the kids, the reflection in a KG, of course it's easier for them in a 9th grade when they actually need to choose where to go, because they have learned how to talk with one another and with themselves and think about what have I learned and what do I need to learn. And actually that is now also for the following step for all of us. Now we've been writing down the takeaways and like kind of open up what would be the main thing. And then when you go back home, to again look back and think that what were the things that I learned, what do I need to learn more, what do I want to learn more, and how can I use these colleagues, how can I use the mentoring network, how could it help me to get the new knowledge and new ideas. Yes. I think before the certificate and last talks, I would ask you to write something. There is a white canvas there with only headline, just want to say. So maybe one word, maybe a sentence, but while you're filling your classes, please write something for all of us to remember. I will then take a picture and then share it.
I will check if they have more questions.
So we got to the end of this week of the main training in Finland, and we are really grateful that you all were here and you were participating in all of the projects of the programs. And thanks Lila that even though you were a bit sick, you were still keeping the rhythm with the others. And you will receive a certificate which contains the Hungarian and the Finnish training week as well. So you will have now proof that you learned something even in a Hungarian written form way.
And then as, it says many things here, and I'm sure that we have explored much more. Mm-hmm. But the main thing is that what you feel that you can use and how you feel of those that you have seen, observed, and what do you sort of reflect that you need more. Those are the key elements for the future and for the next session that when we're going to meet online, those I will be asking.